Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Wednesday. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Quick word, guys. Got to share this really quickly before I leave. This is not the time to be afraid. This is not the time to start questioning God. Is it really happening now that it is happening? See, here's the thing. The delay, the wilderness, whatever seasons, right? All of these things can truly get you to a posture where you start conditioning yourself on this time schedule. It's almost like, okay, let's just say, for example, you've been in the wilderness and God says, okay, it's not time yet because I still have more work to do on you or the other side. It's not time yet because you're still failing some tests that I need you to master. It's not time. So even though you were frustrated when you hear that, even though you're frustrated during the delays, there's something that happens internally that makes you feel like, well, it's far off, so there's no need to get excited. So you start conditioning yourself to believe that, and it's internal and you don't even realize it. So your mouth says you're ready for it, but there's something internally that makes you feel like, well, it's still far off. It's still far off. It's still far off. Where now, it's time. It's happening now. But that same reservation that you had internally, that it's far off, is blocking it. Your spirit have to be in alignment with what God is doing. Your mouth have to be in alignment to what God is doing. So this is why a number of you are seeing clear confirmations that, oh, it's time. You're seeing the clear confirmations, but yet you're backing up a little bit. Because it's like, wait a minute, hold up. And God is like, what do you mean? You've been harassing my nerves for the last decade. And now that it's happening, now that I'm showing you signs and wonders, now that your spirit is telling you, oh, it's time, now you're hesitating. It's because you condition yourself to believe that the promise was so far off and that you may never attain it, that you were not good enough to attain it, and that it just wasn't happening. But it's happening. Step into it. Fearful in all. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it, but step into it. Fearful in all. Because see, let me tell you something. When things start happening in the spiritual realm, it can scare you. It can scare you because it's so overwhelming. It's a good overwhelming, right? I mean, it's supernatural. But it's like, oh my goodness, right? Like, I was thinking so low. And you want to give me all of this? Now I see. Now it made sense on why it took so long for the process. Because I didn't know it would be this grand. I didn't know it would be this great. It's supernatural. It's time. It's happening for many of you. Don't be afraid. Because truth of the matter is, you will fumble. Oh, you will fumble if you do not stay connected to God. There were rules that God gave you in the wilderness. There were things that God told you that when the promise is released, there are certain things you're going to have to do, which in reality is just about staying connected. You have to stay connected no matter how much fun you start having, no matter how great things are, no matter how you feel so free and you're no longer in bondage to the wilderness, and no, you still have to stay connected. Many of you The places where God is taking you, the things he's releasing, you have zero training in that area. This can look like if God is calling you to marriage. Honey, your whole household was a whole zoo. A whole zoo. You have zero training in that area. That can look like those of you who God is calling to start a multi-million-dollar business. You've always worked for other people. No one in your family have ever owned a business. And so on and so on. So the point is, you have zero training in this area. So this is how the enemy is going to really start to attempt to toggle your mind back and forth. Like, you're going to screw it up. You're going to screw it up. And now you're having these reservations. So you wanted it bad when it was so far off. But now that it's close, you want to back up. No. No. Must I remind you what you've been through? Because see, only you know what you've been through in that wilderness. You know the people that had to fall off. Even when you were crying and sobbing because some of you didn't want to fall off. You know the attacks that came against you that you never told anybody. The spiritual demonic attacks. You know how the enemy sit there and played out with your family in your face. Must I remind you the things you've been through to get to the promise? And now you want to have doubts? You want to back up? No. We're going forward. Point blank period. Afraid and all. Because training or not, if we stay connected, it's going to be God who tells you how to move, when to move, what to move, every second of the minute. Did you hear what I say? Every second of the minute. I didn't say every minute. I didn't say every hour, every day. No. Every second of the minute. That's how connected you're going to have to be when these doors open. Mess around. Mess around and get undisciplined if you want. Mess around and forget the directions and details and insights in the pacts you made with God when you get there. And the good thing about God is, he'll convict you. He'll convict you to say, hey, tighten up. Tighten up. Too much fun, right? He'll convict you, but are you going to listen? This is why discipline was crucial. This is why discipline was crucial. To those of you who followed, whatever way he started to discipline you, right? That discipline was building you because you're going to have to be so disciplined in order to stay connected when God opens these doors. Oh, it's time. It's time. Oh, it's due season, baby. It's time. Are you ready? Let's ride, baby.